I
That's
wouldn't
fine.
care if it's like a cis or a trans person. If anybody was talking about genitals at Disney, I would think it's fucking weird. You know, I'm just gonna be real.
Adult that enjoys Disney World. I'm a content creator that talks about trans issues. And also you talk about the trans community like it's monolithic, right? Certain loud voices, especially right-wing voices like Eden and the Doll and Blair White, who are used in a completely different way by the right to perpetuate stereotypes about trans people, right? What I'm doing has like a lot of thought put into it, right? And not everyone sees it the way that you see it, and not all left-wing people see it the way they see it. Because what I will say is that you talk about left-wing people who are typically pro-trans, but those people are only pro-trans to a point, right?
The
Out making
goal.
the
I
let me.
think that's a good.
I'm almost
Okay,
done.
yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
almost done.
Go ahead.
Even without making those videos, right? The corn dog videos, even just posting selfies of myself at Disney World and streaming, just eating food, like not doing any sort of scripted content. Those comments were the same exact thing. Oh, grooming children. Oh, you're going looking after kids, right? Like those prejudices already exist, whether or not I am making scripted content that is provocative.
Listen, I think it's a good goal to want to achieve the goal of like more societal trans acceptance. I just don't think you're going to achieve that goal by talking about genitalia at Disneyland.
Okay. I
Do
mean,
do you see the point?
my goal is one drop in a bucket. Right? In terms of what?
To achieve that goal of more like pro-trans acceptance in society.
I think that that video taught some people about bottom surgery and that it was an interesting, funny, and engaging way of doing it.
But ultimately, the amount of people that were taught about bottom surgery legitimately through that video of you talking about genitalia at Disneyland, do you think that the pros of more people knowing about the way that bottom surgery operates was offset by the harm of legitimizing or at least perceptionally legitimizing a far right stereotype by materially giving them an example to point towards to push the pendulum in the wrong direction?
So this is the core of what I get into a lot of conversations with people about. Idea in people's minds that was never there before, that trans people are predators, or is that deep-seated prejudice that was always there and needs to be addressed brought to the surface by my content?
You know what, Loki? All right, I think I'm just gonna leave you this, and I'm probably gonna move back onto the debates. I wouldn't
That's fine.
care if it's like a cis or a trans person. If anybody was talking about genitals at Disney, I would think it's fucking weird. You know, I'm just gonna be real. Like clearly, I think that it's gonna be exacerbated due to the fact that you're trans, and that, like as you said, is gonna be rooted within transphobia, 110%. But it's like, just don't even give them that. You know what I mean?
Say
Line
the
of
same
thought
thing to her.
doesn't
Don't
follow.
even give her. Don't even give
but
them
the
that.
same.
Why
But
provoke
the
them
reason
that
why
way?
that I don't think that train of thought follows in this circumstance is because, in all reality, okay, Rosa Parks sitting in the place in the bus where she wasn't supposed to, according to society, on its own wasn't wrong. In the vacuum, that wasn't wrong. But I feel like in the vacuum, it actually like kind of is a little like weird, wrong, antisocial to be talking about genitalia at Disneyland, and that's ultimately why it's something that you shouldn't do.
Why can't I talk about?
Wait, can I hop in for just 2 seconds and kind of give the perspective on why? So the one thing that I will say is that, like, I think that advocating for a purpose or a cause is always important, especially if it actually means something to you and you want to use whatever way that you think is best to amplify your voice to do so. So I'll never knock anyone for amplifying their voice. But the one thing that I will say is that understanding as a, being a marginalized community and a minority, understanding that the targets that we can paint on other people back just by, as creators, us putting a certain message out, is something that we always have to be mindful of. You, me, Dean, all of us have a higher responsibility because we're given a platform by the people that believe in us. And since we're given a platform by the people that believe in us, we have to make sure that we're being good stewards of what they give us. And so just because we have the privilege of doing certain things doesn't mean that other people within our community will have the privilege of doing that as well. And in the same sense that just because, like, we're someone that people see all the time, we may not be as in danger. Like, other people that are connected or associated with us can be in danger because of what we do. So we just have to be more mindful of the things that we do to make sure that we're not perpetuating harm to the people that we're advocating for. That's a huge thing.
I think we can agree to disagree here. I mean, look, I know who I am. I know what I stand for. The trans community is not monolithic. A lot of people see what I'm doing and appreciate it, and
But are you not worried about those
it.
people that you're putting in jeopardy and harming?
Well, who's really putting them in jeopardy, right? Is it me? Because who we really need to be talking about is the actual bigots, right? How am I responsible for that?
Well, I think more than anything, what we need to talk about is privilege, right? And while I get your point, I'm not saying that you're wrong in the sense of people who are actually inflicting the violence. It's very privileged to not sit here and see that there's a possibility of violence that is being perpetuated by people with hate, ignorance, and bigotry. I'm not giving them a pass. I'm just saying that we as creators have to be more mindful of this. Like, we have to make sure that we're not putting other people in jeopardy because we directly won't be affected. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Also, point number one, by saying that, you're saying that the trans community is monolithic when you argued it's not monolithic like 3 minutes ago. And point number two, you said, why is it
How am
wrong
I
to
saying
talk
the
about
trans community is monolithic?
One moment. And then this is the point that I wanted to address a bit ago. You also asked me why it's wrong to talk about genitalia at Disneyland, because genitalia is a place predominantly for children.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
Have
It
you
absolutely
ever heard, like, literally, there are the word Disney adults. It's a whole thing, right? Like,
Why,
Disney has
I
nights
have a
that are
question.
just for adults.
Why is Disney Kids not a thing? Because it's already by default a place for kids.
And adults.
No, because you just said it
They
yourself.
call it Disney.
Disney adults is its own thing that people use as a phrase for adults that go to Disney, because by default, Disney is designed to be a place for kids. There's no such thing as Disney Kids because by default, it's for kids. Therefore, you have to give it its own label when an adult goes there, like Disney adults.
Yeah.
You get my point?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I understand the point you are trying to prove. I understand what you're trying to say. Firmly disagree. And look, I think we talk about privilege. I understand my privilege. I understand I have a platform. Okay. I understand that, yes, I'm a trans woman, but I'm a white trans woman, right? I also understand what it means to be a passing trans woman and the kind of privilege it affords you, right? This conversation wouldn't be happening on this live the way it is if I were a passing trans woman. It just wouldn't, right? Passing trans women are treated differently. They are given more grace. There are certain things just on the algorithm that I can't do because I simply cannot get away with it because people won't allow me.
Okay.
I think that's again, and that's why I didn't speak in the sense of your community, but I did speak in the sense of like marginalized communities, because myself as a black man, I understand what you're saying. But I think as a creator, like as someone that is given a platform by the people that support us, we have a responsibility to make sure that we're not portraying any type of intentional or unintentional harm to other people that would be affected within our community. And that's all that I'm saying.
Disney adults is its own thing that people use as a phrase for adults that go to Disney, because by default, Disney is designed to be a place for kids. There's no such thing as Disney Kids because by default, it's for kids. Therefore, you have to give it its own label when an adult goes there, like Disney adults.
Yeah.
You get my point?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I understand the point you are trying to prove. I understand. And look, again, we're getting back to the monolithic conversation of, you can interpret what I'm doing as harmful, but there are different opinions out there, right? Like, I don't need to tell you again that the trans community, the queer community at large, the world, right? Like, if you look at the comment section, it's all negative, right? My comment section is, at least on this app, all negative. But you look other places, it's not the case, right? There are different conversations and different viewpoints of people who see, like, look, yes, what I'm doing is provocative. Yes, it is something that, like, Jesse Waters on Fox News or whoever is going to use a clip of my thing to be like, hey, look, trans people bad. But there is also a level of provocation happening that starts a conversation within some people that can change minds, right? And I'm one person. That's the kind of content I make. I think ultimately all three of us on this chat are on the same page about how terrible it is for trans people right now and what we hope the future holds. And I think we're just coming at it from very, very different angles.
Yeah, okay. Well, once again, I just say if you want this to be a descriptive conversation surrounding what will push the pendulum forward towards the societal acceptance of trans people, well, empirically, I feel as if your methodology of doing so has failed, and it's been proven to have failed. But Lilly, I appreciate you for joining the live today, and hope you have a good rest of your day, all right?
Yeah, you too.
Take care. When like a lot of the people on the internet, want to approach like a conversation about like, well, like what level of like responsibility or wrongness do you think that we could observe in a conversation about Lilly Tino or with Lilly Tino, it just kind of like gets to like, oh man, fuck you mentally. Like there's no nuance, there's no substance. It's like literally just transphobia. So, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool because it was like a conversation surrounding like actual nuance and good reason about why, some of the things that Lilly does are wrong. That like aren't rooted within transphobia, which I think is something that maybe the internet's been needing for a very long time.